Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me see and make sure my scarf is fixed. 1 second, there's a mirror in front of me. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Henna. I am a self-improvement coach, trauma coach, and a content creator. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. My brand, my company is all about God-conscious self-improvement. You'll see it on the YouTube banner. If you go to my website, you're going to see it on my website. And this might be the first time you've ever heard of God-conscious self-improvement. It's not a new idea though. For me, the whole point of my brand, why I established it, was I was honestly just sick and tired of seeing these self-improvement gurus and influencers, or whatever you want to call them, preaching such god-awful methods and like values that were so counter to what we know to be the way, if you're a Muslim, to operate life. And what was scary to me is I was seeing a huge number of Muslims who were consuming this content and then being influenced by it. So you have these gurus, right, who, you know, they completely revamp their body, right? It's usually, and this is the thing, also thing about the self-improvement space, it's extremely male dominated. So this is why you'll hear a lot of the messaging in this way. Right? They completely revamp their body. They used to be this, you know, they'll call themselves like skinny twigs. I used to be a loser, blah, blah, blah. And then I started going to the gym and I started working out like crazy and I started eating right. And then I got this crazy body. And then I started working on my business and I got all this money. And then I was able to get all these girls. And you hear that and like, that's what's packaged as self-improvement. But if you are someone who has just a little bit more of a critical lens, you hear that and you should think, why is your self-improvement so dunya oriented? Why is it so materialistic? Why is the end result or the biggest goal of your self-improvement are things that don't transcend anything outside of really just like carnal desire, right? You wanted aesthetics, you wanted money, and you wanted girls, and that was your self-improvement. Yeah, this is what Muslims are consuming, men and women, Muslim men and women. And so to me, I was like, okay, so there's a huge gap, obviously, when it comes to self-improvement. Why aren't Muslims in this space? And then you look at it and it's like there are some Muslims who are in this space now, kind of starting to creep up, but overwhelmingly we spent a lot of time creating content around the spiritual side of Islam, and that is obviously very important. That is something that is essential. The concept of tazkiyah, which is like purification of the heart, is an essential component of our deen. But another thing that is an extremely essential part of our deen is getting your dunya right. And this is a huge misconception that Muslims have, right? I did Islamic community organizing for over a decade. I had the opportunity to sit with teachers. I was studying under students of knowledge as well. I ran halaqat. Like I'm pretty, alhamdulillah, well versed in our faith. And a big misconception people have is that chasing the dunya is bad and we shouldn't be doing it. And there's a caveat to that, right? Our deen is nuanced. Islam has nuance. Running after the dunya for the sake of the dunya is bad. It is damaging to your soul. There's nothing more to it. The Prophet ﷺ said that the son of Adam, if you were to give him a mountain of gold, he would want one just like that. I.e., we are never satisfied. But chasing the dunya for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that should be encouraged, right? And there are several Muslims in our history, including during the Prophet ﷺ's time, that had very much achieved very high levels of, you know, materialistic success, stereotypical success, and were able to use it to further the cause of faith, to help serve people, to help create impact. You're building, you know, strength and power in our community, and that is something incredibly important, right? You don't want a community of Muslims that can't hold themselves down, that, you know, we're sitting here, we're saying, hey, we have the truth and we can teach you guys this, and yet like people are looking at us like you guys don't look like you have all that. It's like, it's a little bit counterintuitive. Let me stop here and say this, by the way, guys. I have an ebook that I just created. It is my, you know, intro to God-conscious self-improvement ebook. I spent a lot of time making it. It is honestly fire. I'm not just saying this. I really, really am proud of the content that is in there. I am going to link below where you can get that ebook. I have a newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, it is my 2-minute newsletter, i.e. the amount of content in that newsletter will never take you more than 2 minutes to read. You sign up for it, you will automatically get the self-improvement ebook, which is fire, like I said, and you'll also get another ebook, my healing trauma ebook. Go ahead and subscribe to that in the description. I'll leave the link there, inshallah, and you'll get to hear more of my thoughts on this. But continuing from that, right? So all of this obsession about dunya coming from these self-improvement gurus, and it's like, hey, our faith is a faith that has tremendous insight into true self-improvement. And it's not just self-improvement on the spiritual side, but it is self-improvement on the dunya side. One thing you are always going to hear me say, by the way, if you see me looking down, I'm just looking down at my laptop. One thing you are always going to hear me say, and so it's like my catchphrase, is Islam is the religion of discipline. And discipline is such a huge part of self-improvement. You can't escape it. Self-improvement requires discipline. And, you know, there are a lot of distorted ideas about what discipline is. I have a few videos on discipline and productivity and all that good stuff. Just kind of look through. I'll try to remember to link them as well in my bio. But discipline is the quality. If you can master discipline, you can do anything. And the reality of discipline is anyone can learn it. It is not something you are just born with. Yes, maybe there are some people that have a little more of a type A personality, and that is genetically influenced, and then they're able to have discipline, you know, they're able to achieve discipline a little faster. But don't you ever think that just because you didn't have that you can't get it. Discipline is a skill, and all skills can be learned, right? This is why I teach what I teach, is because I believe that every single Muslim is able to unlock it. Islam is a religion of discipline. What do I mean by this? If we step back and we look at our faith from this lens, Islam is a religion of discipline, you will see how regularly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inputted opportunities for us to exercise discipline. Here's the biggest one, right? The concept of an akhirah. The idea that there is an afterlife is such a powerful example of exercising discipline. Why? Because if you believe in an afterlife, then you believe that you need to work to achieve the better option in the afterlife, right? We want to get to Jannah. We want to avoid hell. Some people are motivated by fear. Some people are motivated by hope. Whichever person you are, you know, there's a balance of it in our faith for a reason. If you want to achieve Jannah, well, you need to do the things that are going to attain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, meaning you need to be disciplined enough to get yourself to do good deeds and worship God, and disciplined enough to avoid sin and walk away from sin, and disciplined enough that if you fall into it, you have a certain level of self-awareness and are willing to repent for it, and then come back to another time with a new slate. And that is a practice of discipline. That's a huge example of Islam as a religion of discipline. Here's another one. We pray 5 times a day. The fact that we are mandated to stop whatever we are doing and like shut everything down and go pray, and you're not just getting up and praying. You have to make wudu, you have to make the intention, you have to set aside the time, you have to make sure you're in clean, clothes that are not tainted by anything that would disrupt your wudu. You have to make sure you're in a clean area, right? You can't be praying in a bathroom, or in a like on a farm where the animals have used the bathroom everywhere. There's a lot more that goes into it. We wake up for Fajr. If you are a practicing Muslim and you're praying Fajr, you're waking up before the sun rises to pray. Like, people wake up to work out, or wake up to go to work, or wake up to start writing their blog or whatever. You get up to pray 2 rak'at. Like, that's insane. Islam is a religion of discipline. So as a basic fact, you have to recognize, if you are Muslim, you have the guide to self-improvement. Let me show you the guide to self-improvement. Here you go. We've had it. We have it. And all it takes for you is to start reading the Quran like you would a self-improvement book, and start extracting those discipline exercises from our faith. This is a problem with Muslims, right? We take for granted what we have. Whether you were born into Islam or you became a Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the opportunity to transcend a level of humanness that majority of the world is not going to be able to transcend. And we limit ourselves because we disregard all of these gems in our faith. We disregard, looking at our faith from these different lenses. We look at the Sirah as a story and not as life lessons. We lose out on all of this potential, and we leave growth on the table by doing that. It's actually really, really sad. And if more masajid on the minbar, like during Jum'ah, were speaking about Islam in this way, then people would be able to think, hey, like these are actually things that I can implement in my life that are going to help me with my relationship, that are going to help me with my business, that are going to help me, with my, whatever your goal is. And the funny thing is, like, the same people that are, largely feeding us strictly the spiritual side of Islam, they've unlocked this. You think about the huge Islamic teachers and people that we always see on YouTube and, are always speaking at the big dinners and at the huge Islamic conferences. You think that they haven't achieved a high level of dunya success. One, they're extremely famous. Two, they have achieved a high amount of monetary gain, whether you know it or not. They have their own personal brands. They have their own businesses. I've seen what they charge for honorariums. They make a lot of money. So yeah, they're never the ones that are leading masterclasses or courses on how to monetize your, Islamic knowledge or whatever it is. We start to look at it like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You have every right to charge actually for the value that you bring to the community. And the beautiful thing, and I think this is like, there's, an Islamic economics concept is, as long as your wealth is purified through zakah, through charity, it is going to constantly be redispersed and constantly recirculating. There's no, there's no hoarding wealth in Islam. It is constantly, if everyone operated on Islamic economic concepts, nobody would be poor in this world. So you can achieve material gain and not feel bad about it. You're not doing something wrong, even if people are making you think about it. It's like the more Muslims have a amount of wealth that was achieved ethically, right, and not through haram means, not through industries that are exploitative or barter and things that are haram, the more money there is for charity and serving the people that don't have that have less access to that, right? A lot of us have that opportunity, and then there are a lot of Muslims that don't have that opportunity because they're living in areas that are extremely impoverished or that are ravaged by war, right? If you're a Muslim who has that opportunity, don't let yourself be shamed into thinking that you have to abandon that to be a good Muslim. No, you can have, again, materialism or chasing dunya is bad for the sake of the dunya. Chasing dunya to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and serve humanity is a beautiful thing. Let me make sure my camera's still rolling. I'll be so sad if I was going on, I was doing my thing and the camera's not rolling. Yep. We're good. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So, there are a lot of mindset shifts that need to happen when you are operating off of God-conscious self-improvement, right? And again, my ebook, I'm not just promoting this ebook because it benefits me, guys. It truly has tremendous value and a lot of content that's gonna be helpful. I have I have it in front of me, two entire pages on just God-conscious self-improvement mindset shifts. But one thing that I will say, right, be careful who you are consuming content from. Be careful which self-improvement gurus you're looking at. And you need to have a strong sense of self and a strong sense of morality to be able to tease out the things that are just attractive because they look good from the things that are actually going to have long-term value for you in your life and are going to last forever. One thing I think about with a lot of these influencers, and this is, it's sad when you think about people just who don't have faith and don't have God in their life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their life, and they're not operating in a way that is pleasing to Him. You achieve all of these things, but what happened in a situation for you when something just, those things that you labeled as your manifestations of your success and your self-improvement and your discipline, Allah just takes them. The thing about God-conscious self-improvement is it sees you all the way to the end. It sees you through to the end of your life, and it sees you through to the akhirah, right? You can have, there's a dua we make, Allahumma atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana. Oh Allah, give us goodness in this world, in this dunya, and in the akhirah, in the afterlife, give us goodness, right? We're supposed to be thinking about both. Whereas kind of modern day, a-religious, non-God conscious self-improvement cares strictly about your dunya, but it doesn't even see you to the end. If you are filthy rich and you have all these houses, blah, 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 but then you end up like, may God protect us, with cancer. You're like, you find out you have stage 4 cancer and you end up in hospice. What is your Lamborghini going to do for you? What is your huge mansion going to do for you when you can't even walk around it anymore? What satisfaction are you going to gain from that? Are you going to look back and be like, yeah, I have all this nice stuff, but you can't even enjoy it anymore? What happens if all of a sudden that business that you poured your savings completely just falls flat, and now you owe money to your investors and you're freaking out and you're getting sued and all of these things are happening? It's like, is your self-improvement carrying you through that then? Does your nice body matter to you then? Does all of the, all the girls that you were able to get, does that do anything for you? Are they still there for you? Versus God conscious self-improvement, which when it might bring you a beautiful, happy family where you have like really whole family values, and you have a relationship that's thriving and you're happy about it, and you have a business that's doing really well, or you have a job that you really love. You take care of your body, because it's not just that you care about the aesthetics of it. There's nothing wrong with caring about the aesthetics of it. That's fine. But there's another hadith. Allah is beautiful and he loves beauty, and part of that beauty is a physical beauty. That's okay to love the aesthetics. I enjoy the aesthetics. I work out and I very much enjoy, how I look because of that. But the big thing is that we should be caring about the health benefits that it brings, because our body is an amana, right? Christians say our body is a temple. I love that. Like, I love that wording. We have a type of self-improvement that sees us to the end. It doesn't leave us running and trying to grab at straws. It doesn't leave us chasing something that's gonna, at the end of the day, leave us empty. How many people who have achieved tremendous levels of success and tremendous levels of wealth ended up either sacrificing it all to find something else that made them happy, or ended up ending their lives because they were so miserable and you never would have known it? It's like those things, yes, can be manifestations of extremely hard work and discipline, but if it doesn't carry you to the end, and like that's how your final days are carried out, what does it do for you? What does it matter? This is why God conscious self-improvement is so important. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Again, final reminder, ebook is in the description. You will be signed up automatically for my 2-minute newsletter. I send exclusive offers and other content there that isn't necessarily found on YouTube. So go ahead and do that. Also, I don't know if by the time this video goes up, I would have done the soft launch or the hard launch, but I do one-on-one God conscious self-improvement coaching, and I have an extremely systematic approach that is very intentional, very strategic, gets you actual results. The whole the entire strategy and everything about it is found on my one-on-one SI coaching page on my website. I'll also link that in the description. It is there for you. Check it out. There should also be a point where I'm probably going to be posting a masterclass. I'll let you guys know about it, inshallah. But take some time to look into those things, inshallah. It was so nice to talk to you guys again. Please like this video, subscribe for more, and comment below what your thoughts are and how your self-improvement journey is going. Assalamu alaikum.